Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and play, or in one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Steve Dangle Podcast Network. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly.
Okay, I think I figured everything out. Sorry for the technical glitches. This is what happens when I'm not streaming from home. So hopefully you can hear me now, and hopefully the rest of the show will indeed be glitch free. No more echo, no more muting. I think we are all good to go. So welcome everyone. My name is Clay Emo. I'm Canuck Clay, and welcome to Steve Dangle Podcast Network, the SDPN show called Game Over. There's only 2 games happening in the NHL. One of them, I know there's an Ottawa show. And now for everyone that's still here with me late, thank you for waiting for me. As we get going, make sure you subscribe to this channel, SDPN. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you tweet out right now that we're going to be talking about the Canucks for the next 40 to 45 minutes. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review as well. Yes, I was a little bit discombobulated because my plan was to go to the game and then check out Samantha Chang hosting the show, and then I was hopefully going to be talking about a Canucks win loss. I don't know what I was going to be talking about. Not, just kind of supporting Sam. But unfortunately, Sam fell ill today, and then I was able to step in, albeit a tiny bit late. I was at the game, and therefore I can give you a first-hand account of what I experienced at the game, and the sights and the sounds, and just some of the craziness that was happening here. So I appreciate you all being here. And okay, that was the last of the technical glitches. I got 4 screens going, and I'm at my office. Basically, my point is I didn't get all the way home by 10:30. So the next best thing, I got to my office, and here I am for the rest of the show. So you're with me, no guest tonight. I don't want to make anyone stay up till 10:30 on a Friday night to talk about a 4-1 loss, the Vancouver Canucks, to the Colorado Avalanche. The same Avalanche team that the Canucks beat 2 weeks ago, 4-2 in the same arena. But there's just so much going on. And I think the key word tonight is noise. We heard Tyler Myers speak extensively about the noise that is surrounding this team. So I'll get to the noise. That'll kind of be the second part of my show. For this first part, I will break down the game. It won't take that long because there wasn't a lot to talk about. And then I want to show you some of the swag that I got today. And then we will head into the talk about Bruce Boudreau and the results of the press conference from earlier this week. And then the third segment, I'll get to all of your questions. So first segment, breakdown of the game. Second segment, an extensive talk about the noise surrounding this team. And then third segment, I'll get to all of your questions and comments. So stay active in the chat. Thank you very much for being here. I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I'll edit those out for the podcast. Don't worry, Andrew and Robert and crew. And let's get going right now. So the Canucks, we knew this was going to be an interesting night. A good night at the start because they're going to wear their flying skate jerseys once again. And I'll show that one off to you in a few minutes as I end off the first segment. And if you look at the game overall, it was 4-1 for Colorado. The shots were even 29-29. I wouldn't say that Colorado dominated. I haven't seen the advanced stats, mind you, but I wouldn't say that Colorado dominated the Canucks. The Canucks certainly didn't dominate Colorado. However, when you give the Stanley Cup champions 2, not just 1, but 2 5-on-3s, 2 2-man advantages, you know it's going to be tough. And guess what? Both Colorado power play goals were scored on a 2-man advantage. I know it's over simplistic to say you take away those 2 goals and it was only a 2-1 game, but it's true. You take away those 2 power play goals and it was only a 2-1 game. So let's go through the goals really quickly. In the first period, it was kind of even, a kind of sleepy start. It was sleepy in that there wasn't a lot of intensity, but there also weren't a lot of whistles. I don't know if you noticed that in the first period. At the game, I was there with my lovely wife, Gail. It felt really fast, and the first period went by really quickly. Only 1 goal. That was Andrew Cogliano. And I remember it was Dermott, it was Bear. They were kind of trying to get the puck around the boards. Then Miller I believe had a chance to make a play out of the boards. I'm not blaming Miller. I'm not a Miller basher. But Miller did give up the puck to Alex Newhook, and Newhook got it to Cogliano in the slot, and he beat Colin Delia. Not a surprise starter, by the way. Spencer Martin gave up 4 in the first period against Tampa. Delia shut out the Lightning for the next 2 periods. So it was Delia tonight. And obviously with a back-to-back tomorrow, with Edmonton tomorrow, it'll be Spencer Martin. So Delia plays tonight. Cogliano beats him. And going in the first intermission, it was only 1-0. But at the end of the first period, the Canucks took back-to-back penalties. I think Besser put one over the glass, and then Shen got called for a hold or a hook. So then basically Colorado starts the second period with a 1 minute on the 2-man advantage. And there's too much talent between Rantanen, McKinnon, Nichushkin, and that's who ended up scoring. So it was Colorado was very patient on the 5-on-3. They just didn't hammer pucks at the net and chase rebounds. They moved it around, and then Comper finds Nichushkin in the slot. It goes off both him and Myers, and it gets behind Colin Delia. You can't really blame him, Delia, on a 5-on-3. So now it's 2-0 Colorado. We're like, oh, this is not looking good. Then, inexplicably, Colorado gets another two-man advantage halfway through the period, and this one's Mikko Rantanen. And this one, this happened right in front of me. This was on my end of the rink, so I saw a lot of goals. I guess that's a good thing. But it was a shot off the end boards, and I guess on one hand, you saw Rantanen bank it off of Delia, and that happened right in front of me. I thought Delia could have saved it, but I guess on the other hand, Delia was so far on the other side, and the puck came off the board so quickly. I don't know. I still think some goalies may have made that save. I'm not blaming him completely, but that was one where I think, although it was a 5-on-3, he may have made that save. So there we go. Then it becomes 3-0 Colorado. Pettersson gives the fans a bit of life exactly 2 minutes later, and he scores a really nice play. Besser finds in front of the net, and Pettersson shows a lot of patience, a lot of poise, puts it around the goaltender, and then it was 3-1 Vancouver. Pettersson's 19th of the season, which sounds really good until you hear that Mikko Rantanen has 32 goals on the season. But yes, Pettersson puts it past Georgiev, and then it's 3-1. And then maybe you think, okay, it's not a sure thing, but at least if the Canucks can get into the second intermission down 2, it's not ideal, but it's not as bad as being down 3. And hometown hero, Maple Ridge's own Brad Hunt, scores on a bit of a weird, fluky goal. Colorado was pinning the Canucks in the Canucks zone, and then Hunt just kind of does it wasn't even a hard slap shot. It was a slap shot, harder than I could do, but he puts it, and it gets through a bunch of bodies over Delia, and now it's 4-1 going into the third period. And if you guys watch the game, not a lot of activity in the third period. It was the most activity you heard was 2 Bruce there it is chants, and Bruce then tapping his heart as a way to say thank you, or that touches me. I'll get to that in a few minutes. And that was really the most exciting thing. There's some restlessness, there's some booing, no sell the team chants that were audible. That was one thing I was anticipating, but overall you could tell Colorado just wanted to wind up the game. It's almost like they felt bad for us. Vancouver didn't really do much to fight their way into the game. And it ends off as a 4-1 victory for the visiting Avalanche. And I look at the team stats, 29 shots apiece, face-offs, whatever, 53-47 Vancouver. Power play, big difference. Colorado goes 2 for 4. Vancouver goes 0 for 4. They did have an early power play in the third, which might have given them some life, but they didn't do anything on it. And then the Canucks out-hit Avalanche 24-10, so they showed some intensity. They had more block shots. And of those 24 hits, by the way, Luke Shen had 8 of them. So overall, the Canucks didn't play terribly, but they certainly didn't play well enough to win. And against a Colorado, even a short-handed Colorado team, no Kel McCarr, no Gabriel Landeskog, they still have some other really, really good players, led by Nathan McKinnon, of course, and they were simply too strong for a Vancouver Canucks team that you think they wouldn't be overmatched per se on paper given those absences, but just the mental and emotional strain of everything that's happened last week, I think you could say not an excuse, but a contributing factor to the Canucks' loss. So that's kind of all I want to say about the game itself. It was fascinating being there to see and hear the Bruce There It Is chants, and it was just this will kind of lead in my second segment. It just felt a tad strange being inside the rink. It felt a tad strange. But before we get to that, I want to remind all of you to subscribe to SDPN, to this YouTube channel. You can subscribe to me as well if you want to hear more Canucks talk. I try and keep it positive. I try and keep it timely. I always keep it trustworthy. And so my channel is Canuck Clay right here on YouTube as well. Like the video as well. There's 40 of you in here, which is great. There's only 7 likes. I like my 50% rule. So let's get those likes up to 20 or so as we continue on throughout the night. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me now, coming up to 10:45 Pacific time. And shout out to you if you're in a different time zone, Central or even Eastern or Maritimes. If it's 1:45 where you are, God bless you. And but yeah, put in the chat where you're from. That's what I want to know. Put in your chat where you're from, and we'll just take a minute to kind of acknowledge where everyone is watching from tonight. So I'll start. I live in Richmond, my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston in Richmond, but I'm in Vancouver in my office right now. So, Samantha's in here. I just realized I went all this time, and I just realized that Samantha is in here. Thank you for being here. Samantha, I hope you rest up. No sound. Yes, that was not the best start, but Sam, I would never ever throw you under the bus. Your technical ability is just fine, and I can. This is messy. Yes, Connor. No, no complaints from me here. And yeah, remember, I tried to. This was kind of a makeshift studio I'm in right now. I'm at my workplace. Okay, so where are we from tonight? Fangirl is from Northern BC. I actually know the city, but I will not divulge that on here. Maestro's in Surrey. Joe's in Michigan. Thank you for being here. We got our international flavor already. Kingsway is Connor. Thank you. Minnesota. Wow. The 2 of the first 5 I read are from the States. So thank you. We got Michigan. We got Minnesota. I know David's from Toronto. Thank you. Wow. We got Bend, Oregon. We got at least three viewers from the state. What are you guys doing? 3 people in the States. And then there's some others as well. So thank you for being here. And well, we got Boise, Idaho. So now we have at least 4 Americans or 4 people watching from the United States. So before I get to the noise surrounding this team, and Sam, if you're still in here, thanks for Colorado, New Westminster, awesome. Sam, if you're still in here, thank you for being in here, and I hope that you do indeed get better very soon. So one good thing, I guess, that came out of tonight is I got this, and it was a gift from the Canucks. I won't say how I got it, but I will just say that I'm very grateful that I got it. So this is what it looks like. I got, it's kind of funny. I'm a 48-year-old man, and I'm not one to judge what you should get on a jersey, what name, what number, but all my jerseys are of players: Pettersson, Horvat, Hughes, Besser, so on and so forth. Yes, I even have a David Booth jersey. People who follow me for a long time know that. But I said, what the heck? This is a brand new jersey. It's a brand new era. Why not do something fun? So yes. As a 48-year-old man, I did get my own Canuck Clay on here, and it's funny. At the game itself tonight, I get recognized a few times at a game because people say, "Oh, I love your channel, I love your stuff." I say, "Thank you. I watch your vlogs." But then because obviously I'm walking around with this on my back, I had more people, almost like even more people than normal, at least, say hi. So shameless plug, sure, but has that ever stopped me before? And of course, we've been talking about this jersey quite a bit on my vlogs and even on this channel. I know that I think Kaya talked about it on Wednesday night. This is what it looks like in its full glory. The skate, we know that there's no white now in the flying skate, in the speed lines or behind the writing. A couple other things if you can see it, I'm not sure why you can see it on this webcam, but in the striping, there's actually lines to make the V, the V on here. There's no white down in the stripes. There's no white actually along the number or the letters. And then there's also mountain range kind of here on the jersey on the neckline, and there's no red trim. So those are some of the subtle differences in this newer jersey. So that was cool. I was wearing that. I'm not sure how often I'm going to wear those to games. I I don't know. Does it make me look like a tryhard, or is that okay? Or that's never stopped me before. So why should it start me? Why should it start right now? Yes, Stevenson represent. And I got the number 1. I was going to get my birth year, which is 74. But then you guys will think that like I'm an Ethan Bear fanboy, which is fine. I really like Ethan Bear. I hope they re-sign him. But he's not my favorite player, and I wouldn't usually get an Ethan Bear jersey. Then I thought I'd get number 8 because that's my favorite number. The whole Chinese thing, Sam can attest to it. It means, prosperity and success, and good health. But not the biggest. Yeah, Connor Garland's fine, but there's that. Then I thought about getting 50 because I'm turning 50, but that's not for 2 years. So then that's even silly because I'm not even 49 yet. So why would I even skip a year? And then so then I went with number 1, not because I think I'm number 1. SDPN is number 1, but I like Roberto Luongo. You guys know that he's my favorite player of all time. I like Kirk McLean. And technically the number is not retired, as we know. I know we don't have to get in that debate tonight. So it's not like I got a 22 or 33 or 10 or anything like that, which I still think is fine. So that's why I went for number 1, because you're number 1 in my heart. How's that? Okay, enough sucking up. The other cool thing is the Canucks gifted me with this name. Oh, now there's proof I use a ring light right there. Boo, boo, boo. But yes, a cool nameplate that I probably can't put on my office door here, but my boss might get mad. But I will maybe take this home and put it on my wall behind me for my vlog. Christopher says, don't put your birth year. You might get your identity stolen. Yeah, I don't know who else is a good-looking Asian guy born in... Oh, actually, I guess there are a lot of good-looking Asian Canucks fans born in 1974. So yes, you're right. We can't put too much info out there. Okay, friends, let's get to our second segment now. And as we do so, let's take a quick pause, however, for just to catch our breath and just kind of anticipate what we're going to talk about for the next little bit. So there are a lot of players, in particular Tyler Myers, talking about noise. And Sam, I'm not sure if Sam is still in here. Oh, thank you, Nanya, for the kind words. I appreciate it. I know Sam was talking about this on Twitter because I was going through Twitter just before I started. But Tyler Myers, like him or hate him, he gave a pretty somber, honest, transparent interview after. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'd be remiss to mention that it was Hockey Talks night tonight. So the annual game where the Canucks raise awareness for mental health initiatives, mental health awareness, including bringing Rick Rippin's brother out, bringing the dog named Rip out. So understated a little bit, but still a very important part of tonight's night. And of course, a very, very important part of some of the Canucks community initiatives. Now, I know there are a lot of people, many people, who made the connection of how can you run Bruce Boudreau through the ringer and potentially harming him from a mental health or just self-esteem standpoint on a night where you're honoring Hockey Talks, kind of reminiscent of how Brock Besser almost got scratched during the Hockey Fights Cancer game. So yeah, the timing wasn't the best. Obviously, you don't plan those type of things, but still, it was made quite obvious to. Quite obvious. It was quite a talking point among many Canucks fans. I'm going to talk about the noise, and Tyler Myers first referred to it in his press conference, or his media availability. It's not so much a press conference. And Tyler Myers said this. He said things like the outside noise impacted the way the team played, that he's never experienced anything like that before. The mindset and the mood got to us. We were down. The noise is unlike anything I've dealt with. It's hard to deal. It's hard to know what to want right now, because a reporter even asked him, well, what do you want for Bruce? Do you wish that a shoe would drop, kind of the saying, and that if there's a decision made at least for Bruce Boudreau and for the sake of this organization. And Tyler Myers actually, he blatantly and honestly said, I don't know what to want right now. And like I said, love him or hate him, I give Myers credit for standing up as an assistant captain, associate. What does the A stand for, by the way? Is it assistant captain, or is it associate captain, or is it alternate captain? Whatever. He's one of those guys. He's one of the A captains. And I thought Tyler Myers, in my opinion, answered the questions well. You know, it's interesting. A lot of people do feel sorry. We'll talk about Bruce Boudreau in a second, but they do feel sorry for the players. And they say, this is a tough situation. I'm not saying it's media driven or fan driven or anything driven, but it's been a tough year. You lose your starting goaltender 2 months in, and a lot of players underperforming, and we don't have to go through the litany of things that have gone wrong in this market. So there's a portion of the fan base that feels sorry for the players. There's another portion of the fan base that said, why am I feeling sorry for a guy who makes $7 million, $5 million, $3 million, $1 million even, which is way more than any of us make, I think. Well, I can't talk for you. Way more than I make. I work for the church, remember? So there's this thought that, why am I going to feel sorry for these guys? These guys are professionals. They can kind of choose where they want to play ultimately, and I'm not going to feel sorry for a bunch of millionaires. And I don't agree with that. I understand that point of view as well. But Tyler Myers was showing some humility and some honesty in his post game. So we know that it's weighing on the players, and you hear from Andrew Cogliano, who played under Bruce Boudreau in Anaheim. Cogliano, the guy who scored one of the goals for the Avalanche tonight. It always seems to be very active when he plays against the Canucks, taking penalties, scoring goals. And he said this to an Anaheim reporter: I don't know what's going on here, but I love Bruce. I think he's a great man. He cares about players, cares about his team. He's a good coach. I have my thoughts on what's going on there with him on a personal level, and I don't think it's warranted. He's done a good job throughout the league. We had a lot of success in Anaheim, and I actually attribute a lot of my success in the league to him. So I owe him a lot. I love him. I think he's a good person. He's a good coach, and I think he'll come out on top of all of this. So I wouldn't bat an eye if that was a Canucks player talking about how much they love Boudreau. And Canucks players have kind of hinted at that over the past couple weeks. Playing for him. We love him. He's great in the room. He gave me a second chance. All those things. But to hear another player from an opposing team talk about it, that's really saying something to me. And of course, players talk. A lot of these guys are best friends. You don't hate it's not like the old days. You don't hate the guy on the other team. You probably train with them in the summer. You probably take vacations with your families together. So these players talk, and their agents talk, and especially if you're a pending UFA, you're trying to figure out where you're going to go. I'm not sure how many players right now would pick Vancouver. So for an opposing player who, yes, was coached by Boudreau a few years ago, to say stuff like that, you know that the Canucks players are talking. You know that other players around the league are talking. And that just adds to this notion of noise. The noise surrounding this team. And this noise was amplified on Monday when Jim Rutherford did his 45-minute press conference, covering 12 different topics. Everything from Tanner Pearson's injury, Thatcher Demko's injury, Tucker Pullman, contract, Bo Horvat, salary cap, trades, buyouts, Andrei Kuzmenko, and then, of course, Bruce Boudreau. And Jim Rutherford said, he's our coach right now. Boy, isn't that a vote of confidence? And then he goes on to say later, well, I'm not saying that we're making a change or that we need to make a change. Yet all week we've heard about the rumors of Rick Tocchet starting as early as Monday. And a quick word about Rick Tocchet too. He did not have a great record in Arizona, but he had a really bad team. He was assistant coach when Pittsburgh won 2 cups. That's the connection with Rutherford. But I will say this. If the move is made to Rick Tocchet, I have a feeling that the Vancouver Canucks fans are going to be hard on him, and maybe, dare I say, unreasonably hard on him. It's not his fault what's happening to Bruce Boudreau. It's not his fault that we think that Rutherford may be leaving Boudreau out there to twist in the wind. But I think because Boudreau is so likable, Rick Tocchet is almost going to be seen as the enemy or the evil one even before he coaches a single game. So that's going to be a fascinating thing. I can't tell people who to cheer for, how to cheer. I've always said I have no right to gatekeep. But I do know that I'm going to be fascinated to see how Rick Tocchet, if he is the next coach, is going to be received in this market. And I do think that it's going to be harsher than necessary because of who he's replacing. Not because of who he is, but because of who he is replacing. And Nunez says, yes, Tocchet will be the whipping boy for management's decisions. You're right, and especially if Rutherford brings in Tocchet, because Tocchet will be Rutherford's guy. Tocchet will be doing Rutherford's marching orders, and then the more I think people will say, well, to Tocchet, grow a spine or do your own thing, or we replace Bruce for this. So I'm just saying that's going to be a fascinating storyline to watch if it indeed happens. But back to Bruce Boudreau. So if the rumor is that Rick Tocchet's going to start as early as Monday because we got games today and tomorrow, kind of crazy to fire a coach on a back-to-back. But then there's a small gap between Saturday and Tuesday, the Oilers game, and then the Lunar New Year Blackhawks game. Then maybe that's when you make the change. And then you maybe make the change before the trade deadline, so at least the coach will have a chance to work with new players and or give a bit of input, whatever the reason is. So knowing that this Tocchet to Vancouver starting on Monday rumor is out there today, prior to the game, some of the questioning was about to Bruce Boudreau from Thomas Drance. Are you going to savor these back-to-back games this weekend? Basically, Drance was saying, savor these games knowing that they're your last games. And Boudreau responded candidly, as he always does, and in his very likable way, you'd be a fool not to know what's going on. In essence, he's hearing all the noise, so to speak. Didn't help that he didn't take the ice practice day, so then everyone was wondering if he already got canned, and then even his wife had to call, and Bruce said, no, I just decided not to take the game day skate or the game day practice. And then Gemma Christian-Smith asked him a question, something like, what does it mean to coach this team or coach in the league? And he couldn't answer it. He says, I'll tell you later. And he walked off. And it was the saddest thing, you guys. Here was a guy who 13 months ago came in with a ball of energy, smiling, laughing, joking, being sarcastic, being playful, challenging his players, having fun with his players. Heck, he even did my intro for my YouTube show, as many of you guys know. And so all these cool things. And now to see where he is tonight and to see where he was today. And you can't help but feel for him. And even tonight, at the end of his... so I haven't watched his presser because I had to get ready for the show. But I believe, I'm just looking at it right now, at the very end, he says, see you tomorrow, I hope. And then he didn't even say, see you tomorrow, I hope, and then kind of walk away. He almost mimicked getting pulled off by a cane. I'm watching right now. He goes, see you tomorrow, I hope. And then he kind of does this. He kind of does the side fade off of the screen, which was, I don't know if that was intentional or unintentionally comical. And what else can I say here? Yeah, Sam asked a really good question. Clay, do you think the Canucks are closer to Tocchet's Coyotes or Mike Johnson's Penguins? Tocchet's Coyotes, when it comes to performance and just kind of leadership and stuff like that. That's an interesting question. Yeah, so I guess Sam's hinting at, well, what can we expect when Rick Tocchet does indeed come in? So here's one more thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to turn it over to all of you for the final segment. And I want to really get into your comments and feel the noise of this SDPN Game Over Vancouver show. A lot of people have asked me, why do you continue to support this team? Especially given the way that, Rutherford has been treating Boudreau and, like I said, leaving him twisting in the wind, even at the start of the season saying, oh, I didn't even know that he had a second year in his contract. How can you not know that? So for all Rutherford's honesty that I appreciate, he says he's not afraid to basically throw people under the bus and even run it over them a couple times. So I admit, and I always say, and I say it proudly, that I spend a lot of time, energy, and money on this team. That was gifted to me, but the team recognizes that I spend a lot of time, and not so much the money. Oh, I'm sure they recognize the money though, but the time, the energy, and the money because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this team. I have been for all 48 years of my life, but I've never ever in 48 years seen this much dysfunction. Every week there's a brand new story. I'm sure in some places we're the laughing stock of the league. making the lead story on TSN, on Sportsnet, whatever it may be. It's tough. I'm 0% looking for sympathy from any of you, and I don't expect you to give me any because I don't need your sympathy. I choose to devote this much time, energy, and money to the team. I choose to host this show, to host my own YouTube channel, to create content because I love this team. So can I feel bad for Boudreau and still love this team? Yeah, I think I can do both. I really can, because I still love the players. I love the community, and I love the excitement that comes from going to games, taking my kids to games, meeting people at the games, whatever, eating a carved sandwich at the games, drinking a lot of Pepsi at the games. By the way, my billboard's still up. I thought it was only supposed to be up for a month, but I'm not complaining. So that's pretty exciting. But I'm not stupid either. I realize the advantage of falling in the standings, so the Canucks are doing a really good job of. I realize that Bruce Boudreau has not gotten a fair shake, and I do feel horribly and terrible for the man. I know a lot of people they say that they're done cheering for the Canucks. They're not going to renew tickets, not going to buy any merch. And like I said, I can't tell people how to spend their money or their energy or how to be a fan. But I do know that it's probably the trickiest time to be a fan in all 48 years of being a fan. Okay, friends, that's 2 segments down. As we head into our 3rd segment, one last reminder to subscribe to SDPN, to like this video. Yeah, we got over 20, but we're up to 65 people now, which is awesome. It's 11 o'clock on the West Coast. It's 2 o'clock on the East Coast. So thank you for, no matter where you're watching from, thank you for sticking with me tonight. And Sam, thank you for trusting me. I don't think I'm doing your takes, your tech mastery, any I'm not living up to it is the word I was looking for, but hopefully we will make it work. So I want to, Joe says, the team is much more than the front office. Peter says you can love the players, but not the front office and ownership. I'm going to answer some of your questions for the next 10 minutes or so. You can talk about tonight's game, or maybe you want to talk about the general feel of the team right now. And especially for you Canucks fans out there, how are you feeling right now? Are you kind of like me where you're frustrated, you feel bad for Bruce, but you're still going to ride or die with this team? Or are you looking at giving up your Canucks membership, so to speak, because of how frustrated you are? Let me know in the comments. And I'll get to some of them for sure. Fangirl, do you think we could see the coaching change on Sunday over Monday? Yeah, Fangirl, great question. I think the point is it won't happen before tomorrow night's game. It'll happen sometimes after, whether it's Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday night, whatever it is. But my point is it'll likely happen between Saturday and Tuesday, whether it's Sunday or Monday. David says perhaps the negative media coverage will finally prompt Rutherford and Alvin to make the major changes needed to the roster. Yeah, I think they're going to do that anyways, David. Respectfully, I don't think the media is going to make a difference to them. Peter, we love the players, but I hate the front office. Say what you want about Benning, but he would never do this. Yeah, I think that's fair. Jay Chong, doing this alone? Yeah, actually, it was Sam's show tonight, but unfortunately she fell ill. I was happy to do it, but I thought it wasn't fair to try and find a guest, and especially to make them stay up till like 11 o'clock talking about this bad game. But yeah, I don't mind. I'm used to going solo. I love having the energy of guests, so I'm fine going either way. Derek, Clay, do you think they made a mistake hiring a coach before a president of hockey ops and GM? It happened in 97, 98. Yeah, we know what happened there. It's tough to say because if the Canucks were winning right now, who knows? Maybe we'd still be going through this drama. Yeah, but if they thought that Bruce Boudreau was the best coach at that time and place, then I can see why. Although I don't know if there's a big rush for our services. So maybe you would have liked to see it go the other way, but yeah, that's actually a really good point. Now that I think it through, maybe we wouldn't see this same thing, but I think you have to think of there are more kind of factors than just that. But that's a fair point, Derek. Great question. Nanya, I just want some hope, and I feel like there's no hope. Yep, it does feel hopeless right now. Renegade, at the time, did you cringe when Luongo opened his mouth about Tim Thomas during the playoffs? That's a poll from 2011. Yeah, as much as Luongo was my favorite player, I think he got caught up. Speaking of noise, the theme of the night, I think he got caught up in some of the noise for sure. Fangirl is frustrated, feeling bad for Bruce, but still bleed green and blue. That's fair. That's fair. High T, I feel like they hired the wrong assistant coaches from the start of the season. Yeah, not a lot of love for Mikey O. Trent Cull's up here now. Jason King is still there. Part of me feels like this was a vain project by Aquilini that's gone on for too long and we're paying the price. Don't know if this is the truth. Yeah, a lot of people putting the blame on Aquilini, although both Benning and Rutherford have said that Aquilini has never interfered, never put up any obstacles in terms of spending money. So it's tough to say. I think it's easy to say, oh, Aquilini is bad. Well, we know about some of his business practices, or at least allegedly. But it might be easy to say that, oh, Aquilini is running the team. He's not letting the management run the team. But we don't know those things for sure. We don't know those things for sure. Peter Clay, is there light? How do we get out of this darkness? Too much drama. Front office is pathetic, which is the way they treated Boudreau. Yeah, that's everything I've been talking about for the last half an hour. Winning solves a lot. But are you not winning because the players have checked out, not tuned out Boudreau? Is the coach kind of checked out? This is just, it's ugly. And being there at the game tonight, it felt ugly. Wish we kept Benning over this management group. Yeah, that's easy to say now. I hear what you're saying, but that's easy to say now in hindsight because I don't think anyone was saying that at the time. Sam was at the game. We were chanting, Bruce, there it is. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot to mention that. It got a lot of play on Twitter. After the first set of Bruce, there it is chant, you see Boudreau tapping his heart twice, like saying thank you, or that really touched me. And then I think he let out an F-bomb too, but not an F-bomb because he's mad, but like, this is very touching. F, the kind of words that I say all the time. Yep. I think he does know that the fans care about him for sure. There was a tweet that I saw. Where is it right now? From Brendan Batchelor. Boudreau calls the fan support he's received in Vancouver the most incredible thing on a personal level that he's ever experienced in his long career outside of winning championships. And I think that is saying a lot. Sam says, Aquilini, that's the problem. Christopher Chow, when they panned to the GM and president, when the chant was going, they looked so uncomfortable. Also, thank you to you and Sam putting on a show so we can vent. Yeah, I appreciate Sam being in the background helping me out. I think most of our moderators are from the East, and sometimes they stay up. So thanks to them. But I know Sam doesn't have to be here. She should be resting, but I know she was in here earlier at least, and I appreciate her as always. Do I think Bruce will secure another job? Yeah, I think Bruce will get another job. It might not be right away, but I think he's too unless he doesn't want to. But I don't think it's going to be a case of he's going to be shut out of jobs going forward. What are your thoughts on Rutherford and Alvin? I get maybe it might be fair to judge them during the trade deadline, but mistreating Boudreau is frustrating. Yeah, the treatment of Boudreau is frustrating, but from an overall picture, I know it's tougher to say this, but I'm still going to reserve complete judgment until after this trade deadline and off season. Renegade with Bo Horvat on the trading block. Do you see Pettersson on the way out? Should they just tank for Bedard? Yes. By the way, if you're wondering, don't get all surprised that Canuck Clay actually said the word tank. I think I can be mature enough to say it and speak about it now. Held out for long enough. I don't think they're going to intentionally tank, but you can make decisions to assist that. Right now I'm not worried about Pettersson wanting out. Owner hired Bruce before hired Jim Rutherford, which was a mistake. There we go, Maestro. Nanya, do you prefer the skate over the Orca? I like the Orca, but I like the skate. No, I like the skate. This is my favorite jersey, not just because it came out. The Hughes jersey that I've been always wearing, that's my favorite one, and that's also a flying skate as well. Connor, yeah, I wish Bruce had a better experience here too. He deserves it. Jack, one thing I really hope doesn't happen is if we hire Rick Talkin, then we start winning and in the same situation last year. Yeah, I actually think we're too far behind. And I just don't think, especially with Demko out, I can't see us putting on the same type of winning streak that we did last year. Rome Aquilini personally hired Boudreau. Bruce is his guy. He hasn't said one word in defense of an employee on his payroll. I never thought about that. Yes, that's a good point. Boudreaux was Aquilini's guy, and he hasn't said anything. Connor says, you expected the fans to turn on him, but they knew better. I'm happy for that. He is not the problem. It's management and the players. Yes, no argument there. Peter, if this is it for Bruce, thank you, Bruce. You brought so much joy for us fans for the brief time he was here. Second half of the season last year was so much fun. Yeah, it was an unbelievable time to be a Canucks fan. Merritt, I've been cheering for them since the West Coast Express. This honestly feels like the end of me ever wanting the Canucks to win as my own insult to the management. Can't tell you how to fan. That's fair. Yes, I'm not sure if Sam's still there, but thank you, Sam, for being here. Think we can trade multiple picks and current players for Bedard, move up the draft. Yeah, you can move up a little bit, but I'm not sure if the Canucks have the pieces that will entice a team to trade Bedard. It's going to take one of PD and Hughes, but not both. Jeff King, my guess is Bruce ends up as associate coach in Toronto. Video, energy, that kind of role. I can see it closer to home. Maestro, do you know why Francesco brothers aren't part of hockey decisions? I think Francesco is the one who loves the Canucks, and the other brothers worry about other parts of the business. So how you doing? Someone in the Hockey Guys channel, someone said there was some fans chanting, sell the team near the end of the very game. Yeah, and it's tough to say because I didn't hear it from where I was, but it could have been happening in another area of the arena, but I did not hear it. Where's Ryan Reynolds when you need him? That's funny. Do you think this ownership management in Vancouver is approaching the dysfunction Ottawa had a few years ago? It feels like it. It feels like it, but hopefully they can righten the ship. Sam is here, but sorry, I was talking about the other Sam, Samantha, but thank you, Sam, for being here. Do you think that Thatcher Demko will be able to bounce back, Clay? I do, Merritt, but I don't think it has to be this year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Friends, I think I'm going to wrap up there. We're actually at the 45-minute mark. That went by really quickly and went by relatively smoothly if you take away the first 3 or 4 minutes. So I really want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank Samantha for modding and contributing to the discussion, at least for the first half of the show. I hope Sam gets better. And having said that, Kaya will be back on the mic tomorrow hosting Game Over Vancouver after the Canucks host Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. I'll be going to the game tomorrow night, rocking this thing. So if you're at the game, make sure you look for me. Make sure you say hello. I'm in my upper bowl seats tomorrow in section 319 with my season ticket partner, Mike. So once again, thanks for being here. On your way out, subscribe to this channel, SDPN, right here on YouTube. Like the video. If you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review, even despite my technical glitches at the start. And you can also follow me on YouTube at Canuck Clay and on Twitter at Canuck Clay, hence the name on the back of my jersey. So once again, thank you to my sponsor, our sponsor, Sports Interaction, and thanks to all of you. Tomorrow, Vancouver, Edmonton, Kaya taking care of Game Over Vancouver. So I'll make plans to join her right here tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. I gotta tell you, recently I sat next to a baby for a 10-hour flight. A 10-hour flight. And I didn't think it was possible for someone to scream for 10 hours straight without stopping. Even the baby was impressed that I pulled that off. Take care, and go Canucks go. Good night, everyone.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.